The world's greatest escape artist once failed to open a door that was never locked, and his story holds the key to escaping the most common prison of all, your own mind. If you're ready for more stories that will build your English and your mindset, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to join us on this journey. Before we begin our story, I want to start with one honest truth. Overthinking is silent, but it is very, very dangerous. It doesn't make a loud noise like anger. It doesn't shout at you like depression can. But it kills your joy, slowly and quietly from the inside. And the worst part, most people don't even know they are doing it. They just think they are being careful, or being smart, or trying to be prepared for the future. But they are not. They are stuck. They are paralyzed, lost inside their own mind. I believe this topic is so important for us to talk about right now. Our world today is loud. It's fast, and it can be overwhelming. You open your phone, and right away, you are hit with so much information, so much comparison, so much judgment and pressure. You were already thinking about what your friend said to you yesterday. Now you are also thinking about what that stranger posted online a minute ago. Then the questions start in your head. That little voice begins to whisper, "What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I say something wrong? What if they misunderstood what I said yesterday? What if I missed my chance?" And before you know it, you are sitting in your room doing absolutely nothing. But you feel mentally exhausted as if you have just run a marathon. That is the trap of overthinking. It drains your energy. It steals your confidence. It ruins your sleep. It damages your health. And worst of all, it stops you from truly living your life. You want to start a YouTube channel, but you overthink. You want to start speaking in English, but you overthink. You want to send a simple message to someone you care about, and you overthink it. And by the time your thoughts finally settle down, the opportunity is already gone. Overthinking is a thief, and if you do not stop it, it will quietly steal your future. So why do we do this? Why do we overthink? We overthink because we want to have control. We believe that if we just think about a problem long enough, we will find the perfect answer. But life doesn't give you perfect answers. Life gives you choices. And you either move forward with a choice or you miss the chance completely. Overthinking is a lie that your brain tells you. It says, if you just keep thinking, you will feel safe. But all it really brings is more fear. So now let's talk about how to escape this mental prison. Not with cheap tips, but with real, powerful, life-changing solutions that will stay with you forever. This story won't just help you to stop overthinking. It will also help you improve your English, your mindset, and maybe your entire life. Let's begin. Solution 1. Your mind lies. Let's begin with the most powerful truth you need to understand. Your mind lies to you. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it is trying to protect you in the wrong way. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. It will always prepare for danger, even when there is no real danger there. And so you start thinking things like, they didn't reply to my message, maybe they hate me now. Or, he looked at me in a weird way, maybe I said something wrong. Or, I failed one time before, so maybe I will fail again. You feel something bad inside, so you think, maybe something bad is coming. But all of this is just noise. It's not the truth. It's just fear. Here is the real truth. You don't really know what other people are thinking. You don't know what the future will bring. You don't know how something will end. But your mind acts like it knows everything. It creates false stories, and then it punishes you with the emotions from those stories. That is why the first and most important step to killing overthinking is this: stop trusting every single thought that comes into your head. Not all of your thoughts are facts. Not all of your feelings are the truth. Your brain might lie to you, but you do not have to believe its lies. Once you truly realize this, you start to take your power back. Let me tell you a true story. Harry Houdini was the world's most famous escape artist. He could escape from any prison, any handcuffs, any chains. He was a master. One day he traveled to a small town and made a challenge to the local police. He said, "Lock me in your strongest jail cell. I promise you I will escape in just 30 minutes." The police locked him in. Houdini smiled. He had done this hundreds of times before. He took out a small thin piece of metal, a tool that he had hidden in his belt, and he started to work on the lock. He tried and he tried. He moved the tool to the left, to the right, up and down, but the lock would not open. 30 minutes passed. Then an hour passed. He was getting tired. He was sweating and becoming angry and frustrated. Why wasn't this working? Finally, after struggling for so long, he gave up. He felt defeated. He leaned his tired body against the door, and suddenly, it swung open. The door was never locked. It was only closed. But because Houdini believed it was locked, he acted as if it was. He was trapped, but not by the lock. He was trapped by his own mind. This is exactly what overthinking does to you. Your mind tells you, "I can't do it. I will fail. They don't like me. I'm not good enough." And so you don't try. You don't move. You don't speak. But just like Houdini, you are trapped by a lie. The door is not locked. You are not truly stuck. You are not weak. It is just your mind telling you a false story. Your thoughts are not always true. Do not let a lie control your life. Push the door. Break the thought. Your freedom is waiting for you on the other side. And that brings me to a question for you. Have you ever felt trapped by a belief? A thought in your own mind, only to realize much later that the door was never locked, that you had the power to walk free all along. I would be so honored to hear your story or your thoughts on this in the comments below. Sharing our experiences helps us all feel a little less alone. Solution 2. Catch the storm before it grows. Overthinking doesn't just explode like a bomb. It begins like a whisper. A small, quiet thought enters your mind. At first, you might ignore it. Then it comes back again, and then again. Soon that little thought grows arms and legs, a body, and a voice. And before you know it, it is shouting inside your head, and you feel completely helpless. The only way to break this cycle is to catch the storm when it is still small. You must catch it early. The moment you realize you are starting to overthink, you need to say to yourself, "Stop. This is not helping me. I'm not solving anything. I'm just getting stuck. I need to stop now." That single sentence is like a sword. It cuts through all the noise. It's like stopping a train before it starts to pick up speed, because once that train is moving fast, it's much harder to stop. The longer you stay inside a negative thought, the deeper the trap becomes. Imagine this situation. You sent an important message to someone, and they didn't reply. Thought 1, maybe they're just busy. This is a normal thought. But then comes thought 2, maybe they're ignoring me. And then thought 3, maybe they're angry with me. Then thought 4, what did I do wrong? Then thought 5, why does this always happen to me? And finally thought 6, pain, guilt, anxiety. And what was the truth? They were just asleep. That's it. But in just a few minutes, your brain wrote a full dramatic movie with a very sad ending. That is why catching that first negative thought is everything. You must learn to interrupt the spiral before it even begins. Solution 3. Empty your brain. Before it overflows, have you ever seen a cup of water overflow? You keep pouring and pouring more water into it, and at some point the water has nowhere else to go. It spills everywhere all over the table. That is exactly what your brain does when you don't release your thoughts. They pile up one on top of another and another until there is no space left. And suddenly, you feel heavy, anxious, and sad, but you don't even know why. So here is a very simple, very powerful solution. Write your thoughts down. Get a pen and a notebook and write down exactly what you are thinking. Don't write it in a perfect way. This is not for anyone else to read. It is just for you. Give your brain a chance to breathe. Because your thoughts are loud when they are trapped inside your head, but they often become quiet and small when you see them on paper. Write down what you are thinking, why you think it matters so much, what you are afraid of, what you wish would happen. And once all of it is out of your head and onto the paper, you will notice something strange. You will feel lighter. You will feel clearer. Because you have stopped being a prisoner of your own mental noise. This is not just journaling. This is a mental detox. For many people, this is a tool for survival. If you don't express your thoughts, they will find a way to express themselves as stress, as anxiety, and sometimes even as physical sickness. So let them out. Your peace is hiding just underneath them. Solution 4. What if doesn't exist? Let's be honest with ourselves. Most of our overthinking begins with two simple little words. What if? What if I fail? What if they leave me? What if I embarrass myself in front of everyone? What if I never succeed? What if everything goes wrong? And here is the problem with these two words. When you ask, what if, you are living inside a future that has not happened yet. In fact, you are living in a future that might never happen at all. You are feeling real pain from an event that does not exist. You are feeling real rejection from a conversation that never happened. You are feeling real anxiety about a terrible future that you created only in your imagination. That is why, what if is the most dangerous question you can ask inside your head. It creates scary movies and then makes you feel like they are real. Let's take an example. Imagine a student. He wants to speak in English for the first time in front of a group. His mind starts screaming at him. What if they laugh at you? What if you forget a word? What if your accent is bad? What if they think you're stupid? Now stop for a moment. What has actually happened in reality? The answer is nothing. He hasn't even opened his mouth yet. But inside his own head, he has already failed. Not just once, but 10 times. And so he stays silent. He doesn't try. His confidence dies a little bit. And over time, his dream of speaking English fluently also dies. That is the destructive power of what if. So here is the truth you need to remember. What if is not your friend. What if is not your future. What if is not your reality. It is just your fear dressed up as a question. What if doesn't exist. Don't let it control a life that is real and is waiting for you to begin. Solution 5. Say the thought out loud. Overthinking is so strong because it stays hidden. It whispers quietly in your head, and your mind plays it over and over again like background music on repeat. But there is one strange, simple trick that can destroy its power. You have to say the thought out loud. Literally, speak the thought into the air. Say, I have this thought that my boss hates me. Or, I have this feeling that I am going to fail this test. Or, I am thinking that no one loves me. Now stop and just listen to how that sounds. When you say the thought out loud, it often starts to sound small or weak, or even irrational and silly. This is because your brain is very emotional, but your voice, the sound of it in the room, is logical. Let's use an example. You are thinking, what if they reject my job application? You have been thinking this for hours. Now say it out loud. I think I will be rejected for this job. Your logical brain hears this and says, okay, and what will happen if that is true? And you can answer back out loud. Well, I will feel bad for a day or two, but then I will try again. I will find another job to apply for. Suddenly, the fear is smaller. The storm inside you is calmer. Why does this work? Because when you speak a thought, it moves from the emotional part of your brain to the logical part of your brain. It becomes a problem that you can manage, a thing you can control and understand, instead of a giant, scary feeling. So the next time you are stuck in a mental loop, try this simple process. Step 1. Speak the thought out loud. Step 2. Listen to how it actually sounds in the real world. Step 3. Ask yourself, is this thought really worth all of this fear? In most cases, the answer will be no, because the thought is never as scary as the silence that surrounds it. Solution 6. Stop trying to be perfect. Let's face it, one of the biggest reasons people overthink is because they are chasing perfection. They want to say the perfect thing. They want to look the perfect way. They want to make the perfect decision, have the perfect plan, and get the perfect results. And what is the result of all this pressure? They do nothing, because nothing ever feels good enough. The pressure of being perfect becomes heavier and scarier than the fear of failing. Let's take the example of a young woman who wants to start her own YouTube channel. She has ideas. She has passion. She has a story she wants to tell. But then the overthinking starts. What if my background isn't good enough? What if my English isn't perfect? What if people don't like my voice? What if I make a mistake in the video? So she waits. One day of waiting becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. And her dream slowly dies. Not because she tried and failed, but because she was waiting to be flawless. But here's a secret truth. Perfection is just fear in a beautiful disguise. People don't connect with perfect things. They connect with real things. Real words, real stories, real effort, and real growth. Nobody ever became great by being perfect from the beginning. They became great by starting when they weren't perfect. So you must kill the idea of perfection. Instead, choose progress, because a finished project is better than a perfect dream. And the world needs you, the real you, not a perfect version of you that doesn't exist. Solution 7. Move your body. Immediately, when a negative thought enters your mind, your first instinct is usually to sit with it. You want to figure it out. You want to solve it. So you sit there and you keep thinking and thinking and thinking. But here is a truth that most people don't know. Thinking harder doesn't bring answers. It only brings exhaustion. Overthinking is not a sign of intelligence. It is a sign of mental traffic. And when there is too much traffic in your mind, you can't move. You just get stuck. Now listen carefully. Your body is deeply connected to your brain. The way you sit, the way you stand, the way you move, it all affects how you feel. When you overthink, your body often becomes very still. You freeze. Your muscles get tight, your breathing gets shallow, and your face becomes tense. Without even realizing it, your body enters survival mode. You are now trapped in your head, and your body has joined the fear. That is why the fastest way to escape overthinking is to move your body. Not because it's exercise, and not because it burns calories, but because motion interrupts emotion. Here's how you can do it. Stand up and just walk around your room. Go outside and feel the fresh air on your face. Do some jumping jacks. Clean something in your house. Wash your face with cool water. Stretch your arms and your legs. Jump up and down for just 10 seconds. It sounds so simple, but it is truly life-changing. Because when you move your body, you shift your focus. Your brain stops spiraling downwards. You start breathing more deeply. You become aware of your surroundings again. You return to the present moment. Let's imagine someone sitting on their bed worrying for hours. Why didn't they call? What if I messed everything up? What if this painful feeling never goes away? Now imagine that person stands up, puts on some music, and just starts organizing their desk. 5 minutes later, they might not be smiling, but they are not drowning anymore. The storm has slowed down. That is the power of movement. Don't just sit there and drown in your thoughts. Stand up and interrupt the pattern. When your body leads, your mind will follow. Solution 8. Replace thinking with doing. Overthinking loves confusion. It feeds on indecision. It tells you that you are not ready yet, that you need more time. It says, let's just think about this a little more. But here is the brutal, honest truth. You don't need more thinking. You need movement. You need momentum. Your brain can imagine 100 different problems at the same time, but it can only solve the one problem that is right in front of you, and only when you take action. Let's say you want to start speaking in English more confidently. You think, what if I say the wrong word? What if people laugh at me? What if I just freeze and can't think of anything to say? So you plan, and you prepare, and you overthink, and you end up doing nothing. Here is what you should do instead. Forget about perfection. Forget about getting approval from others. Forget about the future. Just do one tiny thing. Speak one single sentence out loud. Record one voice note on your phone. Write one line in a journal. One small action is more powerful than 1,000 perfect thoughts. Why? Because that small action teaches your brain a new lesson. We are not here to be afraid. We are here to move forward. The longer you sit still, the more scared you will get. But the moment you act even in a very small way, the fear starts to lose its grip on you. Let's say you want to apply for a new job, but you are overthinking the email, the resume, the perfect words to use. Instead of worrying, just open your laptop. Write the first line of the email, and then save it as a draft. That's it for today. Tomorrow, write the second line. That is how you beat overthinking. One small, manageable movement at a time. You don't need to finish the entire race today. You just need to take the first step. These steps we're talking about, from moving your body to taking one small action, are all about taking back control of your life. And we are going to explore this theme of action and courage even more in our future stories. So if you want to continue on this journey with us, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss what's coming next, and we can keep learning and growing together. Solution 9. Limit your decision time. Many people believe that more time brings more clarity. So when they feel confused about a decision, they wait. They wait for the right moment. They wait for a sign from the universe. They wait for everything to feel perfect and certain. But more time doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes more time just brings more confusion. You might start with one simple question: should I message them or not? Then an hour passes. Then 3 hours pass. In that time, you have written and deleted 5 different drafts of the message. Now your heart is racing. You feel anxious, and you are more stressed than when you started. That is the poison of delayed decisions. Your brain hates the feeling of the unknown, so it keeps analyzing, keeps questioning, keeps circling the same problem over and over again. But clarity doesn't come from thinking longer. Clarity comes from choosing faster and then adjusting your path later if you need to. So what is the solution? Set a time limit for your decisions. Tell yourself, I have 10 minutes to decide on this, and after 10 minutes, I will make a choice and move forward. You do this not because you are being careless, but because you are choosing to protect your peace of mind. For example, you are overthinking whether to say yes to a new opportunity. Set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, ask yourself 3 simple questions. What do I really want? What is the worst thing that could happen? And will this decision move me forward in my life? Then when the timer goes off, decide. Not tomorrow, not next week, imagine now. Because peace does not come from making perfect decisions. Peace comes from making chosen ones. Even a 70% good enough decision brings more peace to your mind than a 100% overthought delay. Make the choice, move on, and adjust if you need to. But do not sit in the fire of indecision waiting for the fear to disappear on its own. Solution 10. Focus on what you can control. Overthinking often comes from trying to control things we cannot control. We try to control the future. We try to control other people. We try to control the outcomes of situations. We try to control everything. But the simple truth is you can't. You cannot control what other people think of you. You cannot control who stays in your life or who leaves. You cannot control the past. And you cannot control what will happen next month or next year. So why should you suffer for things that you have no control over? Instead, you need to shift all of your energy and focus onto the things you do control. You control your own actions. You control your response to situations. You control your breath. You control your habits. You control your focus. Let's imagine this. You sent a message to someone and they didn't reply. Your mind starts to overthink. Why didn't they answer me? Are they angry? Should I apologize for something? Should I send another message to check? But stop. Can you control their mood? Can you read their mind? No. So instead, you focus on what you can control. You take a deep breath. You go for a walk. You move on with your day. You do your work. You clean your room. You learn something new. You put your energy back into your own life. Because your power is in the present moment, not in their phone's inbox. Here is a simple rule to live by. If it is outside of your control, it should be outside of your stress. Let go of the storm that is happening outside. Build your peace inside. That is not weakness, that is true strength. Because peace doesn't come from fixing everything in the world. Peace comes from focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. Solution 11. Accept that not everyone will like you. One of the biggest and most painful reasons people overthink is because they care so much about what other people think. They worry constantly. Did I say something wrong in that conversation? Do they think I'm weird? Maybe I looked stupid in that video. Why didn't they invite me to the party? Maybe they don't like me anymore. This pain is real and it is heavy. Because every human being wants to feel accepted. We all want to feel liked, respected, loved, and understood. But here is a very hard truth that will also bring you peace. Not everyone will like you. And not everyone is supposed to like you. And that is perfectly okay. Even the kindest, most beautiful, most talented person in the world has people who dislike them. You are not here on this earth to please the whole world. Because the more you try to be liked by everyone, the more you become a stranger to yourself. You start to hide your true voice. You change your personality to fit in. You make your dreams smaller so they don't offend anyone. You say yes when you really want to say no. And what is the result of all this? You don't feel loved. You feel exhausted. You don't feel accepted. You feel fake. And the worst part is you start to overthink every single thing you say and do. But when you can finally accept the truth that some people will misunderstand you, some will dislike you, and some will reject you. No matter what you do, something beautiful happens. You become free. You start to speak with more courage. You walk with more confidence. You can finally breathe. Because you are no longer trying to be someone you are not. Remember this. You don't need everyone to like you. You only need to like yourself. You were not born to impress other people. You were born to express yourself. So stop replaying that awkward moment in your head. Stop explaining your every move. Stop wondering if they like you. Instead, ask yourself a much better question. Do I like the person I am becoming? That is the only answer that will guide you to true peace. This lesson is one that I believe so many of us need to hear. If this part of our story felt important to you, maybe you could share it with a friend or someone in your life who needs to hear this message too. Sometimes a shared story can make all the difference. Solution 12. Let go of perfection. Another silent killer of our peace is the obsession with being perfect. People tell themselves, I can't start my project until it's perfect. I can't speak English until my grammar is 100% correct. I can't upload the video until everything looks completely professional. I can't apply for that job until my resume is absolutely perfect. And what happens? They wait, and they wait, and they wait. And in all this waiting, time is lost. Opportunities are lost. Confidence is lost. The dream itself begins to fade away, not because they failed, but because they never even started. Perfection is not your goal. Perfection is your prison. Perfectionism whispers in your ear, you're not ready yet. You're not good enough yet. You'll embarrass yourself. But here is what no one tells you. It is progress, not perfection, that builds greatness. Every confident speaker was once unsure of their words. Every successful creator made terrible first videos. Every skilled writer wrote many terrible first pages. But they all had one thing in common: they kept moving. They kept learning. They chose action over anxiety. Let me give you a truth to remember forever. Done is better than perfect. Starting is better than waiting. Imperfect action is always better than perfect hesitation. So today, if your mind is telling you, it's not perfect yet, I want you to answer back. Say, I am not here to be perfect. I am here to be real. I am here to grow. Let go of this heavy pressure. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to be in the process of learning. You are allowed to show up even when you are not 100% ready. Because you will grow by doing and by thinking about doing. Solution 13. Speak the thought out loud again. This idea is so important, we need to visit it again. Overthinking is powerful because it lives and hides inside your head where no one else can hear it. It whispers things like, you're not good enough. They are all judging you right now. You are going to fail, just like you did before. But here is what happens when you take that thought out of your head and say it out loud. It starts to sound weaker, smaller, less real. Let's say you are thinking, I am a complete failure. I am worthless. Now say it out loud. I have a belief that I am a failure. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, is that really truly true? Is there real proof for this thought, or is this just fear talking? By simply speaking the thought out loud, you give yourself a chance to question it. You move from pure emotion to calm awareness. You move from blind belief to clear-eyed clarity. This is powerful for one main reason. Most of the scary thoughts in your head are exaggerated. But you never realize how exaggerated they are because you never hear them with your own ears. Speaking the thought exposes it. It forces you to look at it honestly, and it gives you a chance to replace it. So here is a practical tip. The next time you catch yourself overthinking, just pause and say, "Okay, let me speak this thought out loud." Then after you say it, ask these 3 questions. Is this thought helping me? Is this thought kind to me? Is this thought even true? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then you have the power to release it. You can let it go and replace it with a better one. A thought like, "I am learning. I am growing. I have made it through difficult things before. I can handle this." Because when your inner voice finally becomes kind, overthinking begins to fade away. Solution 14. Look at facts, not feelings. Overthinkers often trust their emotions too much. They feel nervous, so they think something bad is about to happen. They feel guilty, so they think they must have done something wrong. They feel afraid, so they assume that danger is near. But our emotions are not always accurate. They are signals, yes, but they are not always the truth. Let's take an example. A student finishes an English speaking test. He feels terrible. He says to his friend, "I messed up so badly. I was so nervous. I am sure that I failed." His feeling is that he failed. But what are the facts? The fact is, he answered 90% of the questions. The fact is, he used a lot of good vocabulary. The fact is, he kept speaking even when he made a small mistake. The facts say that he did well. The feeling says that he failed. Which one is true? The facts. Your emotions are important, but when you are in a state of overthinking, your emotions can become wild and exaggerated. They can make you see things that simply do not exist. That is why you need to learn to stop and ask yourself this important question. What do I know for sure? What is the actual proven truth in this situation? Not just the fear, not just the feeling. The facts. Imagine you text someone and they don't reply for several hours. You start to feel ignored. You feel rejected. But what are the facts? The fact is, they could be asleep. They could be busy at work. Their phone could be offline. The facts are neutral. Overthinking stops when you learn to look at the evidence instead of just the emotion. So the next time you feel panic or shame or fear, just pause. Take a breath and ask, what are the actual facts here? That one question can save you from hours and hours of anxiety. Solution 15. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Overthinking is very often a private battle. You sit quietly with your thoughts. You smile on the outside in front of other people. You say, "I'm fine," when they ask how you are. But inside you are stuck in a terrible storm of thoughts. You might cry in silence when you are alone. You overthink every conversation. You replay every mistake you've ever made. You worry about the future. You question your own worth. But you never say anything to anyone. You stay quiet. You think to yourself, "They won't understand." Or, "I don't want to be a bother to them." Or, "I should be strong enough to handle this alone. If I ask for help, I will look weak." And this silence, it becomes a prison. You carry all of the pain by yourself, but your shoulders were never meant to hold this much weight all alone. So here is the truth that I need you to hear clearly, gently, and deeply. You are not weak for asking for help. You are wise. You are brave. You are human. Even the strongest people in the world fall down sometimes. Even the happiest people cry. Even the most successful people struggle. No one makes it through life alone, and no one is meant to. Imagine this. You are walking through a huge, dense forest. You are completely lost. Your phone has no signal. You have no map, no direction. And then you hear someone else walking nearby. You see them, and you can tell that they know the way. They have walked this path before. Would you stay silent? Would you choose to suffer longer, just to look strong? No, of course not. You would ask them, "Excuse me, can you help me find the way?" That is what asking for help is. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is saying, "I care about my future more than I care about my pride." Whether it's a friend, a teacher, a family member, a therapist, or even a kind stranger online who listens without judgment, speak to someone. Reach out. Let someone else hear the storm that is happening inside of you. Because sometimes one single conversation, one kind reply, one moment of human connection can stop a lifetime of suffering. And even if they don't have all the answers, just the act of speaking your pain out loud lightens the weight. You are not alone. You were never alone. And you were never meant to fight every battle in silence. Help is not far away, but you must be the one to take the first step. You must be the one to say the words, "I'm struggling. I need some support. I don't want to go through this alone anymore." You will be surprised by how many people in your life truly care. And even if no one around you listens, I will say this to you right now. You are strong. You are important. You are not broken. You are just overwhelmed. And that is okay. I believe in your healing. I believe in your courage. And I believe in your future. So please take that step. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be heard. Let yourself be helped. Because you matter, and now you have heard it all. 15 powerful, real human ways to stop the cycle of overthinking. This wasn't just fake advice or cheap tips. This was deep emotional truth written for you. As you have watched this video, something very important has happened. You haven't just learned how to stop overthinking. You have done something far more valuable. You have started a journey back to yourself. You have been reminded that your thoughts are not always facts, that your fears are not your future, that your mind does not have to be your enemy, and that your life does not belong to your past. And even more than that, you have taken one more step towards something greater. Because here on this channel, you don't just improve your English. You don't just learn grammar or listen to sentences. Here, you learn how to heal. You learn how to grow. You learn how to become the strongest, kindest version of yourself. And you learn it all in English, step by step, word by word, day by day. And that's where our story for today concludes. This one was a real journey, wasn't it? I am so curious to hear your take on it all. What were your final thoughts as we finished? Do you have any lingering questions about any of the ideas we talked about? Please leave all of your opinions, your feelings, and your questions in the comments below. I truly love reading every single one and building this conversation with all of you in our community. Thank you for watching. Thank you for feeling. And thank you for choosing to heal instead of staying silent. Now go and live your life, not inside your thoughts, but out here in your truth. You are free now. You are not your overthinking anymore. This is your beginning.